Hi, this is Marla Gibbs, also known as Florence on the Jeffersons, Mary on 227, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Hi, Miss Parker.
Hi, boys. What'd you say, honey?
Huh? Nothing.
Ed Robertson, along with her guest Kathleen Bradley. Kathleen Bradley, the first African-American model to join ranks with Barker's Beauties on The Price is Right, and the actress known around the world as Mrs. Parker in Friday. Calendar year 2025 marks the 30th anniversary of the release of Friday. To mark the occasion, Kathleen and one of her co-stars in Friday, Ice Cube, recently reunited on the set of the music shoot for It's My Ego, the lead single from Ice Cube's album release, Man Down. You can follow Kathleen on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and KathleenBradley.tv. Before we went to break, Kathleen and I were talking about the esprit de corps that existed up and down the line during the making of Friday as we pick up the conversation. You talk about this in your book, Kathleen. Everybody was on the same team during that shoot.
Yep.
There are no egos. Everybody was on the same team. They gave it their all to make the best movie they can, within the constraints of a budget and all that.
That's true. I didn't obviously get to work with everyone on the set, but, I would come into contact with some other people like Regina King. I met her on the set, and Anna Marie Horsford. Of course, she was my next across the street neighbor. I said, "See you later, girl. Call me when you get home." She's like, "Okay." And Regina, I met on the set because she was going to do a scene pretty soon after I finished mine, even though she and I didn't do one together. And we became friends as a result of meeting on the set that particular time. And, after a while, you just kind of see people out in the same circles at some point. But just being around everybody. And, of course, John Witherspoon, I saw him on set a few times. And I know John Witherspoon's wife, rest his soul, John Witherspoon. His wife, Angela Robinson, is a very, very dear friend of mine. We used to model together. So she's doing a wonderful job still upholding his legacy and everything. And he was such a funny guy, such a wonderful comedian and person, a stand-up comic. And that was one thing Ice Cube did say he regretted, that he was not able to get the movie done in time to have John on, the set and working. Same thing with Debo, who Tiny Lester, the big guy, for people who don't know who he is, with the kind of a disoriented eye, that eye, strained eye. He could be looking at you or somebody to the right of him. You'll never know. And he passed away as well. A.J. Johnson, he passed away. He was one of the other key players in the movie. Yvette, I forget her last name, one of the other girls. So we've had, so many people in the they have passed away and unfortunately won't be able to obviously be seen in this next one. But I would think and hope, at least maybe somehow, like I said, I would be so curious to see what the script is like. Because even if he doesn't anything, at least kind of flashbacks would be cool, using some of the other people in the upcoming movie, some flashbacks of the neighborhood and everything.
Well, we'll keep good thoughts. That is, as it comes together and takes form, that the powers that be keep you in mind and find a role for Mrs. Parker.
That's right, baby. I got it. That's right. Let's keep it out there.
That's right. Kathleen Bradley's on the line with us. Kathleen Bradley, Mrs. Parker in Friday, the first African-American model to become a Barker's Beauty on The Price is Right. Kathleen's memoir, Backstage at The Price is Right, is an intimate look at her 10-year run. Well, you say 10-year run, but you actually, if you read the book, you know that Kathleen actually started a year before she was hired officially, so it's really an 11-year run.
Well, yeah, you can say that pretty much so.
It's really an 11-year run on The Price is Right that also shines the light on the many catfights, betrayals, dirty little secrets, depositions, lawsuits, hypocrisy, sexism, racism, and other sort of isms that Kathleen experienced while working on the show Backstage At the Price is Right, available Amazon.com, wherever books are sold online. You can follow Kathleen Bradley, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, KathleenBradley.tv. I'm going to say something stupid. I did not realize until I read your book that you were almost 40 at the time you first auditioned for The Price is Right. And I say that because, as you know, there are a lot of double standards when it comes to women and aging in Hollywood. When you reach a certain age, it's like opportunities that may be available to a man of that same age suddenly don't become available to a female of a certain age. So with all the other isms that you encountered behind the scenes of The Price is Right, I was pleasantly surprised to learn that ageism apparently was not one of them.
Well, actually not, because you have to consider Diane, Holly, and Janice were all that were the same age. We were all in the same age range. Of course, Diane and Janice being older, I think Janice was at least 5 or 6 years older than me. But they were all older anyway. And the thing is, I really think I was chosen above and beyond many of the other younger models because they were younger. Some of those models people tried out could have been our daughters. You know, they just wanted to kind of keep with the same era, same kind of feel, and it just worked out because I have traveled throughout the world. The world was my stage and my learning tool when I was with the singing group, The Love Machine. The 7 girls singing and dancing. We had an 8-piece band, and that was back in the 70s. And I had been to Italy, Germany, Spain, Belgium, Sweden, Switzerland, Asia, Africa, Paris, France, Central, Paris, Nice, Cannes, name it, did it. 86 countries in my whole lifetime. So when I had the opportunity, and actually I had just gotten married for the second time and had a child, my baby, like 6 months or 3 months after I had my son, I got that call for the audition, and I always kept my body in shape for the most part because in this business, your face and your body is your passport. You know, you got to be ready at all times. And thank God I was pretty much ready because I had to present myself with a swimsuit for the producers, you know. And I was given the opportunity and did it, and did several auditions on the show, live shows. At the time, we take 3 days a week, 3 shows a day, and then we take 2 weeks and off a week. And when I was doing the show, they would alternate and have other different young girls on, and you know, actually doing the actual shows. But I had the opportunity, obviously, to spend time with the other models, whom I always had admired for so many years, and we just had more in common. I had things to talk about. I was comfortable around them. I didn't feel inferior. I didn't feel, you know, anything of that nature. And they could feel that and sense it and pick it up. They just liked me overall, and the crew. So it worked out, production people.
And I would think, Kathleen, you mentioned your experience performing with the Love Machine. I have a couple of specific questions for you about your Love Machine days later on that I'll ask you if I can. But I would think the fact that when the time came for you to go through the audition process on Price is Right, the fact that you had spent 5 years, 7 years touring with a girl group and performing and the time, that whole experience, performing on stage and go on and traveling this and the fact that, and you knew how to bond with people, you knew how to connect with people. I'm sure that served you well when it came time to working with the other models on The Price is Right.
Exactly. You said it in a nutshell. Exactly. It definitely worked in my favor.
Backstage at The Price is Right by Kathleen Bradley, available Amazon.com, wherever books are sold, online. As you can follow Kathleen Bradley, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, KathleenBradley.tv. Can we chat for another 15, 20 minutes?
Sure, why not?
Okay. No, I'm very mindful. I don't want to monopolize your
I
time.
appreciate that. No, go right ahead. I'm good. I figured I'd give you a good hour if you needed it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Very good. Very good. I mean, I'm always mindful that when you say half an hour, sometimes it only means a half an hour. But
that's right, and I appreciate that. You never know. People have plans.
That's right. That's right. Once I talked to Marla Gibbs, and she was cool. She was great. She said half an hour, and she gave me a really good half an hour. And I asked her, "Can I go a little long?" She said, "Nope. Got to do my workout. My personal trainer's here. I got to do my workout." And I figured, good for you. You're Marla Gibbs. You're entitled to say whatever you want.
Yeah, I love Marla. She's a very dear friend, very dear. Yeah, she's been such a wonderful influence and wonderful person in the community as well as in the entertainment industry. And we just love her so very much, and she's such a dear person, so sweet.
And Marla has a wonderful, wonderful back cover quote of Kathleen's book, Backstage at the Price is Right, Memoirs of a Barker Beauty, which you can find Amazon.com, where books are sold online. Kathleen will be back next week for part 2 of our conversation. We'll ask her a few questions about her years traveling around the world with the Love Machine. We'll also talk about some things that are going on for her right now, and maybe, just maybe, we'll ask her another question or two about Friday and The Price is Right. Part 2 of our conversation with Kathleen Bradley next week on TV Confidential. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay Area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
Hi, this is Nancy Olson Livingston, and welcome to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson with a reminder that the next edition of TV Confidential will premiere next week on this station at the usual time. We'll play part 2 of our conversations with Kathleen Bradley and Morgan White Jr. Plus, we'll welcome back actor, author, and Emmy Award-winning producer Lawrence Luckinbill. In the meantime, we have a few minutes left this week. Just enough time to tell you that Paramount Pictures, in collaboration with Fathom Entertainment, will celebrate the 75th anniversary of the release of Sunset Boulevard with a special 2-day theatrical re-release of Sunset Boulevard in select theaters on Sunday, August 3rd and Monday, August 4th, with the special 4K restoration of Sunset Boulevard that was made from a surviving 35mm duplicate negative referencing the print from the Library of Congress. The 4K restoration of Sunset Boulevard premiered earlier this year at the Cannes Film Festival. A reminder that you can listen to Morgan White Jr. every Saturday night on WBZ AM FM in Boston, or you can follow Kathleen Bradley on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and KathleenBradley.tv. Ed Robertson, after Tony Figueroa, and Donna Allen, Phil Grice, and Susan Silver, thank you so much for listening. Stay healthy, stay safe. Talk to you next time on TV Confidential.